years, right?
Man,
5 years. All right, Jude.
Where do I hold
Man,
on?
I like that haircut.
No, man, this is terrible.
Where you growing?
Probably him.
It looks good.
No, it don't.
How long are you gonna take it? You gonna be like Derrick Henry?
No, I'm about to cut it back. I'm getting a haircut today.
Yeah, I don't think Derrick Henry wants it at you, man. All right, tell me what's going on, Jude. 5 years since your last adjustment?
5 years since my last adjustment, and remember I tore my Achilles in 2015, matter of fact.
You feel that in your lower back there when I bring those legs up?
Nope.
How about there?
A little bit. So I stretch on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Just to make sure.
Yeah. Man, is that tender when I put pressure right there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Keep this leg straight.
Okay.
Knee locked. Raise your entire leg up for me as high as you can. Good. Take it down. And the other side. Ooh. See how that's not moving too good?
Ooh.
All right. I don't know if you can see this from back here. Come right here. Look at this. See how that right leg is so much shorter than the left one? All right. That's because this whole side of his body is a lot more contracted. Let me pull this out. Give him a wedgie. All right, but see how his pelvis is sitting there? I don't know if you can pick that up on camera or not, but his whole pelvis is out of balance. Now this right here, this doesn't usually sit in this, but him sitting on that right there doesn't help him. So what I do, Judah, sometimes I have men, this is something we do as men, we'll sit on that wallet for 20, 30 years, right? And it just becomes a repetitive trauma. And some men think it's a memory book. They come in here, they got everything in that thing. And I have them set it on the ground and put 1 foot on it and 1 foot beside it and feel what it does to their leg and pelvis. Well, guess what? It does the same thing when we're sitting on it.
Pause. Don't you have a video on that?
I do have a video on that. So check out my video on, what did we name that video? I don't remember either. We did do a video on wallets. All right, dude. All right, so when this leg was harder to lift, all right, what's happening there, the way your pelvis is out of balance, you have a bone, your sacrum, you're familiar, you know anatomy and physiology. Your sacrum shaped kind of like my hand, that sacrum's rotating over and it's blocking this left SI joint.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's why I didn't want to move as well. So we're going to cross this leg over here real tight. Whoa. Right at the knee. Okay, we're going to open up that SI joint. Good. Uncross. Now, lift for me. Good, take it down. And now the other side. See how this one lifted higher?
Oh, wow.
But see how this one was a little more restricted? That's because you got some restriction in that hip, okay? And now that we cleared up that SI joint, you were feeling it. All right, so what we're doing there, we're tractioning that hip, open up those lumbars. This might get a little sensitive in this IT band right there. Feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that tender?
Nope.
Good. All right, let's do it again. Lift. Good. Take it down. And the other side. Good. See how that was easier?
Yeah, that one.
All right. So now what happens is when that pelvis is out of balance like that, Judy, you're going to start creating a shearing effect on those lower discs.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what's going to happen to them?
Probably going to kind of rub away.
They're going to wear down faster. Yep. And just what you notice there, when that pelvis is shifted like that, you're going to put more pressure on that hip, that knee, that foot, that ankle. Okay. So now let's get the jackhammer out here, man. Now this instrument does the same thing as when I'm using my hands. Okay, we're just using speed. We're putting that force in really quickly to help move these areas before the muscles and tissue can tighten up. Same reason why the table dropped. Okay, it adds speed. All right. How have your shoulder workouts been?
Crazy. Yikes.
Feel that through there? And see, when the scapula and the ribs want to shift like that, those rotator cuff muscles start here and they come over and attach that humerus.
I
So
can feel it.
it's going to put more of a shearing effect on that rotator cuff too. Good. Right there, feel that?
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
Yep, that's.
All right. Take a deep breath in for me, Judah. Breathe it all the way out. Right there. Good. Oh, man. Ooh, feel that?
Yep.
And that's major nerve innervations going to the gut. All right, it's probably that bread pudding sitting right there, man. Take a deep breath. All the way out. Good. No, we got to come at that from a different angle. On your back for me.
Oh. I feel like
You ain't got time for that, man. You got too much work to do. So, Judy, tell me about how'd you start Provoked? What does that mean? What did you
Provoked?
need for me? Yep.
One thing that me being the youngest of 9 children, whenever my brothers and sisters challenge me on anything, I've noticed that I had this ability to just rise to an occasion and surprise myself on things. So I was looking for a word to kind of describe what that was, and it was when they provoked me. I was able to always over exceed what I thought that I could do. So it's just a lot of people out there that have that same thing, but they just don't know how to get it out. And
Right.
They don't know how to allow that to work for them.
So you developed Provoke to provoke people to be a better version of themselves, basically.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, you done provoked me to try to get your head on straight right here, okay? Feel that right in there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, this is all part of some of that you're feeling in that shoulder. So you're going to feel me put just a little impulse in, just like that. You're going to feel it shift. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, what you feel me doing there, I'm just opening up those traction, open those joints and those discs. It's all compressed. We're probably the same height.
What if this makes me grow?
It might.
I'll
At least eighth of an inch. Straighten those legs for me.
I just
Oh,
asked
yeah.
God for 5'8".
Sit all the way up for me. All right. Slide down just a little bit. We gotta come at this one down here just a little different angle. So give it a big hug. Take a deep breath. Breathe it all the way out. Lift your chin for me. Oh. You okay?
I'm great.
All right, step on over here for me. You might be a little sore after that, man.
Man, who you telling?
Draw that head back for me. All right, so notice how I brought your head back?
Yeah.
All right, every inch your head goes forward, it's as if you increase the weight of your head by 10 pounds. Okay? So what I mean by that, these trapezius muscles start right here.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go all the way out to the shoulders and up and attach to the base of your skull. Now they have to work so much harder to help support the weight of your head. That's why the shoulders want to pull. And as I mentioned, when those shoulders roll forward, those scapulas and the ribs flare, now that's putting more strain on that rotator cuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the other thing that happens is your body doesn't let you walk around like this. The next thing you do is you throw those hips forward to help support your upper body. Well, now that jams up those joints in the lumbars, and now you got nowhere to go. So you find yourself prolonged standing on concrete floors, sitting on hard bleachers at a ball game, in your workouts doing things that are throwing you in more extension,
Yeah.
deadlifts, kettlebells. Those are things that you can be sensitive to or can even cause problems because you'll tend to be an extension before you even do anything. So you got nowhere to go, you'll just jam that up.
Gotcha.
So being aware of that on your posture, drawing that chin back, ear, line up with the shoulders, line up with the hips, then that will also help take pressure off your lower back. All right? All right. Better?
Much better. What was that little bicep thing you did to him?
Oh, you want to check your...
Oh, man.
All right. All right. right, so just let this step up there on that mat. Okay, look straight ahead for me. Is that sensitive there?
A little bit.
Sensitive right there, that's where it works.
Oh yeah.
All right, so this is your radius. Okay, and this is a pivot joint. It's responsible for how your arm turns. So what you're feeling is how that radius is shifted back just a little bit, okay? And then that comes down and that attaches to the wrist. Feel that right there in your wrist? Okay.
Yeah.
Now this next thing, you're gonna feel me use the instrument there to kind of help get that radius moving a little better. Look straight for me. I don't want to adjust you crooked. It's worse than a bad haircut. Not that you know anything about that. Feel that? Now this next part is gonna make you sweat. Okay? So if you would, so what's happening here, you got some separation between that radius and ulna, so we're going to bring it back together and coordinate that movement. So if you would, turn your arm back and forth for me like you're opening a doorknob. Sensitive. This is where you're going to start to feel it. Is that okay? Sensitive?
Yep.
So we're just trying to coordinate that motion. Whatever area we're working at, where we were talking about, just what we were talking about in your upper back and your shoulder, your lower back and the pelvis, this elbow and wrist, it's all about relationships. How do you help these areas relate well together? Just like a human relationship, okay? If there's unhealthy communication or a human relationship is out of balance, there's gonna be friction in that relationship. It's gonna get hot, it's gonna get inflamed. Same thing happens in the body. And in the body, they'll call it some kind of itis, tendonitis, bursitis, fasciitis. It just means that tissue's gotten inflamed, and it's usually because of those bad mechanics, there's unhealthy communication. And then if that communication remains unhealthy over time, just like in a relationship, turn your arm back and forth, it's going to deteriorate, it's going to degenerate, it's going to break down. Only in the body we call that osteoarthritis, degeneration, arthritic spurring, stenosis, disc problems. Those are all signs of areas that have been out of balance for a long time. Good. That was the worst. Lean to the other side for me. There we go. Just want to traction that. Yeah, that's better. Feel better?
When I get to a point where, like, some days you can feel that.
Mm-hmm. But that's going on in your elbow is part of it. It's not just the elbow, the whole it's that whole kinetic chain. Your neck, your shoulder, your elbow.
So I had a really bad dislocation my senior year in high school, where my shoulder blade was basically knocked down.
Right
here. So this was the only position. So the doctor, the orthopedic surgeon gave me a choice. He's like, you could get surgery now and you'll be out, or since you're so young, you just keep those shoulders, because literally when it's knocked out, all of this muscle locked around the bone. So I was like this for 4 hours. Yeah. And he told me I can get, surgery now, or I let my body kind of repair it, but I would have to keep my shoulders this big for the rest of my life, or I can lose mobility by the age of 40. Right. So that kind of scared me to a point where, bodybuilding was one of those things where I was like,
to protect yourself. Yeah. Right.
So now I can tell when I don't lift, that's why I'm kind of getting back into it. My whole body feels it. Right. So.
And shoulders are tough. They are tough. I tell people it doesn't matter if you tweak it or you tear it. And the reason why they're tough is there's so much involved. I call it the shoulder girdle. It's your neck, it's your thoracics, it's the ribs, it's the scapula, it's that shoulder joint. Again, it's where all this comes together and how all this relates. Okay, it's not just this. It's not just this. It's how all this relates together. And we're always using them. We sleep on them. We get them in bad positions. You know what I'm saying? So they're just,
this one is this the main.
It's the worst. Yep.
So from your professional opinion, and you know about a little bit of weight training, what would be like my go-to shoulder exercise, like to kind of keep the girdle functioning?
The biggest thing with your shoulder exercises is watching your head posture on the shoulders that you're doing. Okay? Because if that head's going forward, as soon as you do it, whatever shoulder exercise you're doing, the mechanic's already compromised.
Gotcha.
So if you bring that head back first, slightly elevate the chin, okay? That's gonna, number one, it's gonna take strain off those shoulders.
Gotcha.
It's gonna relax your spinal cord. That curve is your natural suspension system. It's a shock absorber.
Gotcha.
And now the weight of your head is gonna be back here on the joints, that are designed to support that pressure instead of forward on the disc, which aren't designed to support that pressure. You see what I'm saying? And now those shoulder exercises you do, you're going to do them from a healthier mechanical standpoint.
Gotcha.
Okay, because let's say that you're doing flies. If that head goes forward, you know, you may be doing more weight, but you're compromising that shoulder. And that's why people will come in and they'll say, I don't know what happened. I was just making my bed. I just flipped out my sheet, or I just took out the trash and I blew out my rotator cuff. That didn't do it. They had these bad mechanics that were creating a gradual shearing effect, and then finally it reached that tipping point.
So the one exercise that I know that I do that on is the upright row.
Mm-hmm.
I love upright rows because it hits the traps, it hits the anterior, posterior, just basically the whole shoulder girdle.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I'll get too into it.
Yeah, there you go.
And
right
I'll go
there.
here.
And that's what I'm saying.
And the fact that you just pushed me back, that should have been here.
Right.
Well, it should have been here.
Mm-hmm.
And now just doing that, I can literally feel everything.
Right.
So just
So just that little thing can help. Like I said, now you may have to change your weight and things from what you're accustomed to, right? Until you build back up, because now you're going to re-engage all those muscle groups in a different way.
Gotcha.
You got to Judah, thanks for joining us today. Judah's one of the most special people on the planet. Check out his information at Provoke. That's how we first met. Judah provoked me to want to be a better version of myself. Now, as he's throwing these guns out here, he's provoking me to want to work on my biceps. Also, man, thanks for letting us share some of your experience today, getting adjusted. Hopefully the next time it won't be 5 years, so I won't have to work so hard. We hope you find this information helpful. If you do, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell as we do our best to help you live life well.